Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my podcast. No cap, just raw. I never get tired of saying it. Guys, we are back. We're back with a Valleyed Girl. And our subtopic is decoding an alpha female. And as per usual, I'm here with my good friend and expert, Key. Welcome back, girl.
Hi, it's always a pleasure. We're getting into some real stuff, okay?
So we are so excited. Let's just dive right in. When I hear the term alpha female, I don't know, I get really excited for some reason. I would say that I consider myself like an alpha female without saying it though. Like without actually looking at someone and saying, "Oh, I'm an alpha female. Did you know that?" like type of thing. Uh and I don't know, there's just something about trying to tell people what you are, because I feel like what you are and who you are like two different things. Does that make any sense? So when I tell somebody, "Oh, I'm an alpha female," I feel like it just kind of sounds redundant because I feel like what you are, it just kind of shows, it comes out naturally.
It
What do you
will
think?
be felt. Yeah, it will definitely be felt. I mean, like, I think it's very interesting when we try to self-identify. And also, I just want to make a statement that everything that we talk about, even though we talk about it in a general sense, there's always exceptions and always individual experiences. You guys, if you have any individual perspectives that you want to share, you should definitely share that in the comments because we can be saying something, but it might not apply, and we're interested to know like who's the exception. But yes, when we're talking about self-identifying, I don't believe that an alpha female or anybody who is anything has to say that they are something. I think it is felt if you are authentically that. Like there are just like randomly, if there's like a compliment that I receive where I'm like, oh, I thought that in my head, I felt like I was, I don't have to call myself that, but definitely, you will receive the feedback naturally if that's what you are. What I think an alpha female is, I do think an alpha female is something to aspire to be. The term that comes to mind is a leader. Now, if I'm talking to somebody about who I am, I might say, I feel like I'm a leader. I like to lead, but I'm not going to be like, I'm an alpha female, like I'm the alpha, like you know what I mean, like that, like I get it, like it kind of has this like weird like ego thing attached to it, like I'm the alpha, just understand that I'm the alpha.
Exactly. I'm kind of like, I think that, yeah, it definitely plays into ego. Because when you're just all because I feel like, I don't know, I think a lot of times when people who operate from their ego can be very insecure a lot of times, and they feel like they have to prove a point, they have to show everyone, I'm going to prove to everyone type of thing. And I'm definitely not vibing with that kind of energy. Just be yourself, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. But I do have my notes here, and I really want to talk about these. So my in my notes, I kind of have 9 characteristic traits that a alpha woman would typically have. And so let's go over a couple of them here, and let's see if these are true. So for one, it says an alpha woman believes her ability to achieve limitless. Wow, like that right there, that last word, limitless, that means she believes she can do anything. I mean, anything. Do you think it's possible? I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. Personally, I think that as a woman, I can do anything that I put my mind to. You know what I'm saying? But there is a limit, you know what I'm saying? And you have to know your limit, right? So what do you think that really looks like? A woman that believes her ability to achieve limitless.
Well, I have my own opinion on that. I mean, like, I love how, we have these key indicators as far as like how, like, you know, how we are just like envisioning things. There is no limit to how you envision things and what you can achieve. I'm not going to say that people should have limits or that there is a cap on how much you can do, what you can do. I mean, a person is going to do what they want to do anyway. But yes, I do believe that if we're talking about an alpha female, we're talking about somebody that's confident in their abilities. When you are confident in your abilities, you tend to achieve or want to achieve a lot more because it may be easier for you to achieve. It may be more satisfying to see yourself doing more. When I think of limitless, I think of just being able to do more and doing everything. Now, actually accomplishing that in every way, I don't know if we can do that as humans just out of our nature, because we are meant to, I mean, I can't say we are meant to, but some people are just meant to, you know, pick up on multiple things and maybe like abandon them later. So I do think that, in my opinion, a better way to say it is the alpha woman is not afraid to go for it, really. They're not afraid to go for it, and they believe that they can achieve. Now, being limitless is something different. Being limitless is something different for sure, but it works though. In my opinion, it does work. Like, in order to have that confidence, you have to kind of believe, like, yeah, I am limitless. I can do what I want to do. I can get out there and start it. But you
Mm-hmm.
also have to be confident that, hey, like, if this one thing doesn't work out, you're confident enough to start the next thing, and that's
Yeah.
just it. You know?
And just to kind of add to that, I thought of two things concerning limitless. I thought about, how women have naturally we are great multitaskers. We can do a lot of things at once, holding down the home, taking care of the kids, you know, preparing dinner, keeping the house clean and things. I think about that, so to speak, in terms of like multitasking and being able to do many things at once. So that's what comes into mind with
I like
limitless.
that. I
You
like
like
that.
that? Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I also think about just kind of like, the entrepreneur type. You're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, and we like do many business ventures. And some things we it's on social media, people know you do it, and there are other business ventures you have nobody knows you do it, but it's like it's an income stream type of thing. So limitless in that aspect, you know you just know how to um bring the bacon home in many ways. So that's like limitless, and I think that's incredible. You know it's commendable to any woman that has multiple income streams. And I know we're not talking about that, but that is not easy to juggle. You really have to have a balanced mindset, a balanced lifestyle in order to manage, literally manage all of these business ventures that you have. So in other words, it's commendable to you, Key, as well, as an entrepreneur who has her own business. You're about to be a mother. It's like, how do you do all these things? It's incredible.
Oh,
um,
thank you. I appreciate it.
let's move along to the next one because we could go all day on this limitless thing. So an alpha female, she self-identifies as an alpha female. What are your thoughts on that? We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Identify.
So when we say self-identify, I think there's a difference between externally identifying and internally identifying, which is what we were kind of talking about. Like, I don't have to prove to someone that I'm an alpha if I'm an alpha, right? Like, I don't, that's not a need, or, you know, it just, I don't have to say it. It should just be felt in the characteristics of my personality if I actually am, right? But then if you're doing it externally, which some people will do, I mean, some people are finding themselves, they're on their own journeys, and they might be overcompensating for their insecurities by claiming the alpha female as their personality trait. And that comes in different degrees, right? Maybe someone claims an alpha female, being an alpha female, in order to grow themselves. Like, hey, an alpha female would do this. and they would be a leader in this situation. They would be more organized in this situation. So maybe I need to take on those traits in order to gain that balance in my life. Or they might say, I'm the alpha female, like, and they become like someone in my mind. I'm picturing like someone from the bad girls club, like someone who has to be tough and fight and like show their dominance because it's not natural, or they feel out of control, or they feel not seen, and like, you know, they might feel inadequate, so they try to portray an alpha female rather than being an alpha female. So like, I think an alpha female either knows that they are an alpha female, they just show it differently.
Oh my goodness. So, so good. I had so many things that came to mind when you were saying that. Just like with the whole proving part, like the female that feels like she has to prove she's the alpha female. So I think there's a positive aspect to that. So there's that female who's growing within herself, and within herself, she's like, okay, I'm an alpha female, because she's trying to get to that point where she believes in herself. And maybe her whole belief system shifting is her believing she's an alpha female. You know what I'm saying? So she's growing. So not to say that every female that's growing mentally is going to tell herself she's an alpha female. There are other ways of being confident in yourself. But for another, maybe being an alpha female is like a goal, because that's the kind of woman she wants to be. And that's what's going to make her feel confident in herself, you know? Personally, I mean, I think that if I were in that space of, you know, building myself up and trying to be confident in myself, I would probably tell myself I'm an alpha female as well. Because I can relate to that. Uh, but I believe in myself. I know who I am, and so I don't feel like I have to prove anything to anyone, like you were saying. It's just something that happens naturally. You know, the work, it's always inside out. You know what I'm saying? So if you're an alpha
Mm-hmm.
female, it's an inside thing. That's just how you are internally, and it's just going to show on the outside. People are just going to see it, and people will call it out. They'll be like, they'll talk about you, be like, oh, she's an alpha female. Did you see how, you know what I'm saying, type of thing. So I think it's really, really amazing everything you were saying. And also the other aspect is the insecure female who, you know, who has the bad attitude, but she wants to believe she's an alpha female, but she is truly insecure, trying to protect herself, operating in pride. You
So
know, you
we're
see
talking
these.
about self-identifying, and there are some ways that you can tell that you are an alpha female or becoming an alpha female, or you have alpha female traits. So if you look at your environment and your surroundings, what you gravitate to, are you someone who gravitates towards leadership? Are you someone who likes to communicate? Um, are you someone who people naturally feel drawn to and who people trust and listen to? That can look different in different environments. I mean, it can be the leader who is like bad girls club energy, like, oh, like, I just, you know, I'm the it girl type of thing, and I'm the one that you follow. Or it can look like the corporate woman who leads the meetings and who everybody feels like, you know, they want to impress type of thing. So are you that person that naturally fits into that role? That's what I think an alpha female is. I think that is someone who is naturally a leader, and people make and elect you as the leader. Now, we talk about the extremes, right? We say like there are people who kind of take on the persona, like then that becomes like a different dynamic. Doesn't mean that that person is not a leader. They just are a different type of leader. So it might come out as listen to me because I am this, or, you know, it might be a little bit, I would say like a darker aspect to that. But, you know, is that something that you gravitate to? Because that doesn't, just because it's darker doesn't mean that you're not an alpha or that you're not taking on those alpha traits of being a leader and having people listen and trusting you. It's just like the process of how you exhibit those traits. So yeah, like there's, if you feel like you're naturally a leader, you look around and you've always just been someone that people can trust, rely on, or they come to, you might be an alpha female.
Oh my gosh. And you know, it's so crazy that everything you said is actually the next point. It says have a confidence that's contagious which leads others to respect her as an equal. So when you talked about surrounding and you talk about people looking at to her to be the leader, to lead and things like that, because and that's because she's confidence. And that confidence is just a natural thing that comes out of her because she's being herself. This is who she is. And so confidence like that is truly contagious. And when I think about that, I think about certain, I think about some people who are in the industry, like, the entertainment industry and things like that, or actresses and actors that I want because we're talking about the alpha woman that I gravitate towards. Like when I watch their movies, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is, but I love watching movies where she's in the movie. For me, an example would be Margot Robbie, and I don't know if you know who she is, but she has played in
Barbie girl, Barbie.
Barbie Girl. Yes, oh great, she girl. So I don't know. I love Margot Robbie. I love watching her movies in general. She played Harley Quinn. She played in Tarzan's love interest as Jane, and then she played Barbie in the Barbie movie. I don't know her when I see her in her roles, I just sense that she's very confident in herself. She's certain, and any role that she gets into, she just kind of embodies the character so well. I'm like, wow. I don't know her, of course I don't know her personally, but she gives me alpha female vibes, you know what I'm saying, because of how she just really, gets into character and dominates the character. And it's funny how an actress who plays a role, she can't help but put a little bit of herself into that role, if you know what I mean. So
Mhm.
she kind of gives me alpha female vibes. And I kind of, in a sense, I look up to her because I love her boldness and her confidence. And maybe that's why they chose her to be Barbie. Who knows, besides the blonde hair. But is there anybody that you look up to, whether it's an actress, singer, whoever it is, even a family or friend that you would say gives you alpha female vibes? Why would that be?
Alpha female vibes. We're talking about blonde people right now, and so the first person that came to mind was Paris Hilton. So, like, you got me in the whole Barbie aesthetic world, and then, like, I was thinking Paris Hilton more from a business perspective. I watched her series on Peacock, Paris in Love, and to me, she gave me alpha female vibes
Wow.
because she was like, to me, like the definition and what I like about alpha females is like when they organize and have so much going on that it's just like this big rush and they're keeping it together through all of this stuff. And in her series, you'll see like all these little chaotic moments that she moves through, and also you see a deeper side of her that gets involved with politics. And she has gone through something as a troubled teen, or going to schools for troubled teens, and she used her situation and her trauma to lead a movement, a movement of awareness for these schools that are treating children really badly, that are abusing children, and everything of that nature. So seeing her in that light actually gives me the alpha female vibes. And since we're talking about blondes, and we're talking a little bit about Barbie, the pink aesthetic, the whole blonde hair, like
Yeah.
she just gives me that vibe. And at least what she's portraying on her series, she's showing like herself in this leadership role. Like she's leading her life. She's made her brand her thing, and also naturally people support her. Everybody wants Paris Hilton around in Hollywood, apparently. Like everybody wants to go to a Paris Hilton party. And the who knows Paris Hilton. So she gives me that vibe.
Wow, I love that. I actually want to watch her series, and definitely check it out. I don't know, just something about her in the past year or two where she's kind of like evolved. She's become a mother, and she's really transformed for the better. Let's just put it that way. So I can totally agree with
Hmm.
as her being like looks like she's walking more and more into that role of being an alpha female, but just naturally, you know, because she wasn't always like that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And really, her life has done a complete 360.
you should definitely watch it because she talks about why and how she becomes or became this alpha female, like why she wasn't. You'll see why, like you'll piece it together when you watch it yourself. She'll show you like why she wasn't, the trauma that caused her to feel out of control and act in the ways that she used to act, and the realization and the changes that she made in her life recently that helped her to mature and to really be, you know, this next level person. So I think it's a cool series. I mean, you know, if you are someone who likes Pink, if you're someone who likes Pink, and I'm not being paid to talk about Paris Hilton's show, I just really liked it. If you're someone who likes Pink and you like when she says that's hot, you're definitely gonna be happy with that show.
You know, it's funny. Everything we said kind of covers the next one, which is showcase leadership characteristics. We can just touch up on it lightly because I think, you know, when you talk about leadership characteristics, you know, Paris Hilton is a great example. You know, what I said, Margot Robbie, of course, you yourself, and, you know, and I guess I want to kind of thank you. I want to dive into, you know, what are some of those characteristics? If we could just touch on it lightly, what are some leadership characteristics that an alpha woman has that would be deemed as, oh wow, she's a leader?
I have a big emphasis on naturally wanting to be a leader or naturally fitting into that role. So um, being someone who wants to share, someone who wants change on a bigger scale. So you have this want to belong or better your community. You look around and you see where you fit in and where you can do something to improve something or change something. That is what I think, that's just like the seed of a leader. That's the seed of leadership, like this internal want to help, this internal want to change, and then having the proper tactics or practicing the proper mindsets and ways to go about it, right? I think a leader has to have practicality. At least a leader has to enact any
Mm,
of the changes that they want to see through different behaviors, through different movements and actions, and a leader will do that. A leader does not hesitate to make those changes or those movements, and it energizes them. It doesn't drain them. they
mm,
don't feel like they don't feel like, I mean, they might get drained sometimes, but just in a sense of their overall personality of being a leader, I think a leader does not get drained by problems. They get energized by solving the problems. They get energized by seeing that change come through and coming through with full fruition. Like even if it's delayed gratification, maybe you don't get it exactly when you want it instantaneous, but that person is willing to persevere because they want that change. So that's what I think a leader is, or a leader should be.
I love that. And you know, I also think about like what you say, a leader shares and things like that. And of course, in today's society, I can't tell you, you know, how many times I just see women just operating on a low vibrational level and, you know, being petty, gatekeeping, and nothing of that nature speaks leadership at all. A leader is not a gatekeeper. A leader, like you said, wants to share, wants to help, goes to the highest level, reaches back and pulls another one up, type of thing. And I love that. That is so good. uh it's more of a mental thing more than anything. Of course, you have to be in the right headspace. You know, there's a lot of that, which is all that we are covering. Knowing who you are, walking in that, believing who you are, uh, and it's just naturally going to come out of you, you know? But the next one is be recognized by others as being impactful. So just that word right there. So an alpha woman is recognized by others as being impactful. So she's influential. You know, people want to do what she does. Maybe it might not be exactly, or maybe more the term is she is inspiring. She inspires others to be their best selves, to show up as themselves. And I think even the word just, I feel like being inspired, inspiring others and impacting others is definitely two different things. It's one and the same, but it's also different as well. uh, Inspiring, I would say, at a glance would be, seeing this and wanting to do it. And then impactful is more of the action part, seeing it and actually
Mm.
putting it to work. Um, what are your thoughts on that in terms of
I
being
definitely, I feel that 100%. Like, definitely, there is a difference between inspiration and having impact. And for some reason, the what's coming to mind is like maybe like someone who's inspiring, maybe someone who dresses a certain way. It's more surface level. And you're like, oh, I like the way that she dresses. I like the way that she carries herself. And then there's someone who says something that makes you change your life. Like, I think like you said, it's kind of similar. It's something that you want to attain and have, but there's a different level to it. It's like the level of change that it encourages you to make. And for anybody to be impactful or inspirational, they have to stand out anyway. So that's one thing. In order to have influence or to reach someone and ignite that passion within them, or ignite whatever it is that you're igniting with them, you have a trait that stands out. You have a trait that is not immediately apparent to them in their world. And so when you step into their world, you're like, oh wow, like they're like, oh my gosh, like she just has a different energy, or she just has this glow, or she just has this will that I wish that I had, and it makes me want to have that, and I want to learn more, and I naturally gravitate towards that person. But you
mm,
definitely, in order to impact or inspire, you have to stand out. Whether you do that naturally, like I know people who are just creative from birth, and they've always just dressed like really, really like different, or they just do it, right? And then I know people who do that as a response to their life or their situation, or just having this inspiration later on in life to stand out. And they might have found an alpha female that inspired them and made them want to change their ways or be more creative. We have some alpha people out there who may not even yet have stepped into feeling like they can fully express themselves and impact people and inspire people, because they're limiting themselves, and who will come into it eventually. Like, this is your marker right now to go ahead and be who you are. If you feel like you are the alpha female, or you resonate with that, just be who you are, and just know that it's okay. We're not going. No one's. If people are going to judge you anyway. I can't say no one's going to judge you, but people are going to judge you anyway. So you might as well be happy being who you actually are and
yeah,
putting yourself in the right positions. If you feel like you're not being respected and received as the alpha that you may feel like you are, um, and not like to make people feel like, oh, like no one respects me and I need to go get my respect and all this stuff. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I don't think that's a good way to be an alpha.
um,
But if you are an alpha and you feel like I've always wanted to be a leader, your people will come to you. Find your tribe, find your tribe. Be who you are. Be in that vibe. If you feel like you want to dress a different way, you want to talk about your story, you want to go and help change the world, um, you want to connect to people, do that every single day, because if it's in your heart, to be an alpha, that means that have you have that trait in you and it's waiting to grow within you.
Mm, I love that. Love that. That is so good. The whole intentional and unintentional, like the unintentional part of just doing it and it's natural, and then the intentional. And it's both are commendable to me. I can appreciate the woman that's intentionally trying to do what she has to do, maybe to be impactful or to be inspiring. And I feel like the woman who operates in the intentional part of it is the woman that's trying to really turn her life around. And she's like, okay, I'm turning my life around, but I don't have to do it secretly. So let me just do it openly. So I'm going to just dress the way I want to dress. And I'm not fully confident about it, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to say what I really want to say. I'm not going to worry about what people have to say about it. This is just who I am. And then the unintentional, I feel, is the woman who's just already there. She just doesn't really care what people think. She is unapologetically herself, doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? She's like, this is just who I am. Take it or leave it. And she's confident in that. So love that, love that, love that. Sadly, we only have one more. One more.
No.
Because it's getting so
More,
good.
more.
I know. We probably need to do another part on this. But the last one said, have extremely, dang, and it puts the word extremely high ambitions. I gotta fan myself on that one. Having extremely high ambition. Having high ambitions, like, I mean, what is even the difference between, because when I think of ambition, I also think of a woman who's goal oriented as well. Like you have goals and you're like, I'm going to knock them out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get this done, this done, this done, no matter what it takes. So to speak to that, then it's to say, like, the having extremely high ambition is, I look at it more as energy based. She's got that natural driven energy, to just keep on going, the can't quit, won't quit kind of energy, if you know what I mean, rather than like, okay, she's got goals and she's goal oriented, which I believe, of course, it's completely, but like we were saying, one and the same, but similar, but not so much so I feel like being extremely high ambition is this woman that she's a go-getter. She gets it done. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm being brought back to like believing that she has limitless potential, which was the first point that you made. I think those two go hand in hand. So having ambitions stems from having a desire to progress and constantly growing, and that comes from never wanting to settle, right? Once you attain this one thing and achieve this one thing, then you believe you can achieve something else greater. So it's always just this natural urge to do something new, do something else. And now that I have this, I'm gonna go and get this. Now that I've broken this record, I want to break this record. Now that I've, like, I think of a track runner, like look at Sha'Carri Richardson, like she's the alpha female of track and field. I love watching that girl run. Oh my gosh. She just does something to me. Like, I'm just like, when I see her, I'm just like, oh my God. Because she has this desire to do better each time, even if she, in one race, maybe she comes out of what is it called? And it's so sad because I ran track for a little bit, but she comes out of the little thingy thing, and she wobbles to the left or right. I was watching the Olympic trials the other day, and she wobbles, and she didn't have the best start, but she actually just like, she finished first anyway in the race. But she's amazing, dude. She is so good. She's so freaking good. But she is someone who I can say she has big ambition. So her ambition is, I'm going to run faster. I'm going to run better. And even if she wins, she always has a new goal. She always sets a new goal based on her performance with the last one. So it's like it's so interesting to see an alpha female have one goal and then another goal, and it just gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger, and they are not afraid to grow in front of people. They are not afraid to fail in front of people. They are not afraid to show people what they've gone through and show that evolution. And so that's something that it's so tasty. I don't know how to put it, but it is just so tasty about an alpha female. It's just like, that's just right. Like, I just like that. Like I love that you don't settle. In practicality, when we are normal alpha females, or we have alpha female traits of wanting more and being ambitious, um, I'm starting to find out a different way of like handling that in my everyday life, because when you have so many ambitions, it's scary. If you are a person who is in a relationship, or you have people that love you and you're so ambitious, it can be scary for them and it can seem impractical. But by human design, if you have this drive and this motivation to go bigger, go better, I think it's better for you to try and to do that rather than to limit yourself and say, well, I can't because it's unrealistic. I think planning is a big thing if you are goal oriented and you have high ambitions. Planning, 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 and practicality, breaking it down into smaller pieces that you can digest and take action towards every day will help you to
Yes.
embody your alpha nature.
Yes. 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 And yes. And yes to everything, because it is just the truth. And if I could say any last thing before we wrap up, um,
No, that's not wrong.
I know
I
it's
was
so
learning
good.
so much.
It's so good. It's so good. Everything you said, Shakari Richardson, I'm right there with you. I love, watching her race. It just gets my blood boiling. I actually ran track a little bit too while I was in grade school, so I thought that was interesting. I'm like, oh, not coincidence. And it's not easy. So seeing what she does, get on the field, I'm like, wow, like she really, really pushes herself, and you can already see, yeah, she's an alpha female. She has high ambition. She's pushing herself. She's like, I'm gonna be the fastest woman in the world, type of thing. And you look at where she started and where she is like, you would have never guessed that she would get to that point. But hey, she has extremely high ambitions, so she doesn't know how to quit. And to any young girl or young lady who's who's going from a girl and transforming into a woman, I just want to tell you that you are not alone. As women, we are always evolving, we are always changing. It doesn't matter how old you are, there's always room to grow. If you're living and breathing, you're not just taking up space. You're here to evolve. You're here to grow and keep on growing. Allow yourself to grow. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to make those dreams that you have a reality. The person that you see yourself or yet you envision yourself becoming, go for it. Operate in that high ambitions. Any last thoughts, Key?
Ah, yeah, you guys live your life. Live your life because you're going to live it anyway. So live it how you want to. Live it with your natural motive.
Amen. There you got it. So we're going to stop right here, sadly, unfortunately. But we will be back. You guys know we always come back, and we come back with a vengeance. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Our social media handles will be right here. So be sure to follow. You guys know all about Key's brand and empire. Go ahead and support my girl, support this brand. Follow us, stalk us, comment, do whatever you got to do. We want to hear from you. We love you guys so much. Thanks for watching another episode of No Cap Just Raw, a Valley Girl series. We love you guys. Bye.